You cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails if you want to reach your destination. Hello, good afternoon, everyone, my dear teachers. As I promised, today again I'm here with all of you with another wonderful strategy. Is SAIL, SAIL. We will be talking about what does it stand for, this abbreviation SAIL, what's the meaning of each letter in this word SAIL? What is the need? What is the purpose for this routine, for this strategy? How we have to use this strategy in the classroom? What are the benefits? Is it helpful in taking assessment, in facilitating the teaching learning process, and fostering the creative skills, the critical thinking of our students? So let us start with SAIL, S-A-I-L. Well, I should say let us sail through this strategy, right? So here, let us talk about the meaning of each letter in this word SAIL. S, as you can see on the screen, S stands for share, sharing an idea, plan, any draft, any project. I mean, for our children, what do? When they make any of the project, right? So we provide them with the feedback. As I talked about in my previous strategies, in my previous videos, I shared some of the strategies for providing feedback to our students. And even in our forthcoming videos, we'll be talking about more strategies so that you can bring a kind of innovation in your classroom. So this is also actually a feedback strategy, but it's not being provided at the end of when the project is complete. It is rather done at the beginning of the project when we need some ideas from our peer group, from our teachers, from the facilitators. So for this strategy, what is being done? First of all, the ideas are being shared. The plan is being shared with the audience, right? With the group of the students. So that is being done. So what kind of project? You see, our children, they make different kinds of projects in all the subjects, almost all the subjects, when we provide them marks for internal assessment. You see, an internal assessment, it has basically 4 parts, right? It has SEA, subject enrichment activity. It has multiple assessment. It has a portfolio and the marks for periodic test. 5 marks for each, you know very well. Okay, as per CBSE, we allot marks for internal assessment out of 20. So if we conduct such kind of formative assessments in our classroom, we can give them grades accordingly. We will be able to provide them with the wonderful feedback. We will be able to maintain our anecdotes so that we can provide them with individualized student-specific remarks, that particular feedback. So let us talk about this strategy when our children, they make different kinds of projects. It can be a science project. It can be English book review. It can be an art integrated project, right? As you know very well, under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat also we do number of activities. We do art integrated project, and art everybody knows. Art is not only about colors, about papers. There are different forms of art: dance, drama, role play, you see, music. I mean, each and everything, there are different parts that are considered in art integration. So we will be talking about various art forms also in our forthcoming videos. So here we're going to talk about share, what all the project has been prepared by the students. Maybe that project is individual work, maybe that is a collaborative work. There, the presenters, they first have to share their ideas with the group of students. So now, if you talk about group of students, it depends upon the teacher. Either you want to go ahead with the single presenter, single group presenting to the entire class, to the whole group, or you want to go with the fishbowl strategy, where one group is presenting, right? And the outer group is just watching how the children are performing. This can be initially done, I mean, to start with this strategy. Slowly and gradually, when your students become familiar with the strategy, you can have more than one group at a time. maybe in the four corners, you can have four groups where children, they are sharing their ideas with each other. So S, that is share. So if I am the presenter, or maybe there are some other students, we have made a project together, we will be sharing our ideas with the group. We will explain about our project, about our idea, like this is my project, this is my idea, this is my book review. It's not only limited to our students. See, I am working as a principal in a school. I will be preparing annual pedagogical plan. So I definitely would like to have some ideas from my teachers, from my peer group, maybe from my co-principals who are there in some different schools. I would like to discuss the same with them. So basically, this strategy is used at the initial stages, not when the project is complete. At the early stages, we use this strategy where we want to gather some information, where we want to gather some ideas, because we would like to incorporate and change our plan accordingly, right? So this is a kind of strategy can be used by teachers. As teachers, you all are preparing your lesson plans, you're writing your logbooks, observation, feedback. So here what you can do is you can try this strategy with your co-teachers, and you can help your students to being a part of this plan and conduct the same in the class with other students, with the peer group, right? So make sure you use this strategy, right? So what we have to do in share, the presenter will share his or her plan, the project, the piece of work in the group, right? So this phase of the strategy, or we usually say, so routine. You see, I frequently use this word routine because we are talking about visible thinking routines. These are strategies. When we use a strategy continuously in a class, slowly and gradually, that becomes a part of our routine. So they are perfectly named as routines as well. Okay, so whether we say sales strategy or we say sale routine, I mean, doesn't matter, right? So when the presenter will be presenting the idea to the group of the student, first of all, we'll be limiting it for a time. It can be for 4 to 5 minutes, right? And the idea here is to give the audience enough information about the project so that it can be helpful in asking them questions. They can offer meaningful ideas, right? Basically, we have to cover the three parts: what, why, and how. What in terms of what has been done so far in this project, right? Why? Why of the project means what is the motivation behind, what is the purpose of this project, and how I want my audience to take up this project and share their ideas with me so that I can gather those ideas, I can incorporate those ideas, and that is actually a collaborative work, right? And apart from it, if as a presenter, I am facing some challenging issues, there are some challenges that I'm encountering, I can also share those challenges so that my audience will get to know this is the project, this is the idea behind, and I'm expecting this from my audience. Like, these are the challenges that I'm facing. If they can help me to overcome these challenges with their suggestions, with their ideas. So this is about the first step. I hope this is very, very clear to you. Share, right? And now let's move on to the second step. The letter of the word sale, second letter is A, right? Ask. A stands for ask. First of all, it was a turn of the presenter when the presenter shared the project. Like I have already told you, it can be an individual or it can be a group presentation. Now, second step, ask. As you can see, now have a look at the first part. Here it is a single-headed arrow. Means as a presenter, I am presenting, I am providing the information to the audience. And if you look at the second slide here, A, asking question, it is a double-headed arrow. Clarifying and probing questions to be asked, right? What is to be done is my audience would be asking me some of the questions. In case they need some better clarity on some of the concepts. If as a presenter, I'm not able to explain properly, or maybe my audience needs some more clarity, they can ask questions, right? And as a presenter, it becomes my duty to provide them with that information, that data, whatever is being required. So this step is quite a conversational, interactive one, where audience as well as a presenter both interact with each other, they talk to each other, right? So as you got to know the presenter also responds to the questions being raised by the audience. So it's a conversational in nature. We can allot at least 5-7 minutes for that in case there are some questions. So as I well told you, as mentioned on the screen, there can be clarifying questions, there can be probing questions, right? Clarifying questions, I mean, to provide more information about the background of the project. And if you talk about probing questions, so here also the audience, they may inquire like why this is particularly important to you. Have you maybe done this project earlier as well, maybe your second attempt or whatever. I mean, any kind of questions they can ask, right? So ask. I hope the second step is very clear to you. Moving on to the third step, ideas. It's again a single-headed arrow, but right now it is towards the presenter. Means ideas. Here, audience will be providing the ideas, the suggestions to the presenter, the actions that are to be taken, right? Now, let me tell you, at this steps, it becomes the responsibility of the presenter to be very, very patient, because we do not have to be, you see, aggressive in case we do not like any idea. We don't have to be offending at any of the point, right? So if we want to have better ideas, right, and we have already provided them with ample information related to background of the project, and we have already answered the probing and clarifying questions. So here the audience, the individuals, maybe they'll be able to provide the ideas, and they can also brainstorm together to provide the presenter with the better ideas. But here presenter, I'm stressing it on again, presenter doesn't evaluate the ideas on the spot, but just gathers the ideas, notes it down. Like, I mean, he or she can pen it down, or maybe if you want, like children are little and they are not able to pen it down, you can have some video capture also, audio capture too, so that they can even review it later on, like what kind of ideas they were given. So this is how, I mean, you can conduct the step ideas, right? So now moving on to the next L, the last letter of the word sale. L is learned. Again, it's one-way arrow, but right now it is from the presenter towards the audience. So as a presenter, when I will gather all the information, all the suggestions, ideas that have been given to me by my audience, right, I will go through all those points, and what will I do is I will share, I'll sum up like how those ideas, they were helpful, and I'll be able to incorporate them, right? What all new insights, ideas I have gained, I will be able to explain it to my audience as a presenter, right? So presenters learnings, presenters takeaways, they are explained briefly, they are recapped, whatever you want to say. So this can be a very short step. You can take a minute or two for that, right? So this is a wonderful strategy. Please make sure you use the same in your class, where children, they'll be able to enjoy, they'll be able to take part, and they'll think critically. They will be able to listen to others' points also very, very patiently, right? As you know, during idea step, the presenter has to be very patient, has to note down all the points, and would be able to share his or her insights, the new ideas that learned by the presenter in the L, that's the learned step, and would be thanking also to the audience for their wonderful steps, for the wonderful ideas, okay, information that is being provided, the suggestions and all. we should also have, everybody should have attitude for gratitude, right? Because see, we have been teaching our children also, always we teach them like what are the wonderful words, like please, sorry, thank you. So we have to teach them these words, like let us be very, very kind, right? When we are seeking information or anything from anyone, right? Let us apologize if we do anything wrong mistakenly, if we hurt anyone mistakenly, and we should always be thankful to others for their cooperation, for lending us a very helping hand, right? So have a quick review now. As you can see on the screen, share, ask, ideas, learned, sale. I've explained you each and every step, and the arrows would be able to even give you more details, right? Like the flow of the information is from presenter to the audience, or it is a two-way process, or it is from audience to the presenter, right? So what is the purpose of sale? There's nothing without purpose we can do. Okay, we always ask, today's generation, we always ask, what is the purpose? What is the objective of this idea, of this thing? Why do I have to do this thing? Okay, so see, this routine or strategy, whatever you say, it provides learner with a structure for giving and receiving ideas from peers. And I told you earlier as well, suggestions for early project development. Nobody is perfect. If I am planning something, I am making a lesson plan, suppose for my class. Certainly, I would like to talk to my co-teachers who are either taking the same subject in different sections, maybe who are teaching other classes, maybe they are senior to me, maybe they're my co-teacher. Even we always learn from others as well. I mean, there is nothing about senior or junior. We may ask others also to share their ideas, right? And the early stage of the project, where I'm in a stage where I'll be able to incorporate various ideas and make my project a real success, right? And if we talk about another point, this routine is a bit more open-ended, suggestive of possibilities, right? And how we sometimes think about feedback. I've already told you, like feedback is not only about saying this is right, this is wrong. You should not have done this, you should not have done that. Right, wrong, crosses, A, B, C, grades. No, nothing like that. Feedback is when you give proper suggestions. So at very early age, we'll be able to teach our students how to give feedback, right? And even I have shared with you in my previous video, which was the ladder of feedback, various steps, various parameters that can be included while providing balanced feedback, right? Now, the typical feedback that we generally give is more likely to occur near the end of the project. I hope you would agree with me. When one project is complete, it is done, we presented, when we ask others, like, please let us know about the feedback. When they provide the feedback and most of the work is already done, and we also become very, very reluctant to take up with those ideas, incorporate them, because then it takes, you see, a lot of efforts to make those changes, right? So the sale routine is more commonly placed in the early process, I've already told you, and it helps learner to think through ideas, generate options, consider various alternatives, right? When I'm sharing, like I am making this lesson plan on so and so topic, right? Maybe let us take an example. Like suppose I am preparing a project, or maybe a lesson plan on biodegradable, non-biodegradable substances, right? So I'm preparing lesson plan, I'm incorporating some of the activities, and I discuss the same with my co-teachers, and they can give me different kinds of ideas. I'm in the initial stage. I'm ready to incorporate those ideas, right? Before submitting it to the higher authorities, before submitting it to the HOD of that particular, department signed HOD, or maybe to the principal, I definitely would like to make some changes in my lesson plan to make it more impressive, rather to be more complete, so that my children can be benefited from that kind of lesson plan, from those kind of learner-centered activities, right? So I am making a lesson plan on biodegradable, non-biodegradable substances. So I plan to discuss the same with my co-teachers, with the teachers who are from the same stream. I just discuss with them, and maybe I can discuss the same with the teacher from other subjects as well. When we talk about subject integration, I can talk to my Hindi language teacher, English language teacher, like this is the topic that I'm taking. Is there anything similar that you are also conducting in your class? Any chapter that is being, I mean, in your class that you have taught, or maybe you are about to teach, where I can integrate these kinds of activities. Maybe I get to know from activity teacher, like we are having Swachhta Pakhwada that usually we celebrate Swachhta. Okay, for the fortnight is there in the first 15 days of September that we celebrate. And I can incorporate those kinds of activities that have always been informed to us by CBSE, from even from the My Government website as well. We conduct such kinds of activities for Swachhta, for cleanliness, for saying no to plastic. So we can incorporate those kinds of activities in our lesson plan. And maybe I get to know from my English language teacher, like there is a poem in so-and-so class, which talks about saying no to plastic, banning the plastic, or maybe some other kinds of activities, reusing paper. And likewise, I can coordinate with the art and craft teacher, like if we can conduct some activity like maybe trash to treasure. So such kinds of wonderful thoughts can come to me, shared by the audience to me, to the presenter, and I will be able to incorporate those kinds of strategies in my lesson plan. So this is indeed a wonderful strategy. And this another point, another key purpose of this routine is to create a community of learners in which students see one another as learning resources, right? This means that the group responding to the presenter is not just an attentive audience, but is active in terms of questioning and offering ideas or suggestions. See, as teachers, our objective is not only to uh, make our students regurgitate the information that we are providing to them. No, our objective is to create an environment in which they start learning from each and everything, whatever they see in their environment, learning from each other. Their thinking caps should be always on. This is our objective, right? So that I have already talked about, like what happens in this is, I have already discussed all these points with you. Now coming to sale. Again, some questions. I talked with you in my previous slides about questioning. What kind of questions to be asked during ask? Second step, ask, right? And I shared with you there also, there can be clarifying questions, there can be probing questions. So here we're gonna share some details about clarifying as well as the probing questions. See, clarifying questions, when we are talking about, they are being asked for the benefit of the questioner, right? As an audience, I want to know more information about the project that is being shared, that is being discussed by the presenter. So these kinds of questions, they provide background information and the context to help the questioner better understand the situation, right? So clarifying questions, they do not take much thought to answer, and they can be typically responded in a few words. For instance, if I ask a question like, have you ever integrated your subject with another subject earlier? Have you done any art integrated project? So it can be yes, no, or maybe sharing some kinds of instances, right? So maybe if I have made some questions because I want to interview some person, so my audience can ask, I mean, who have you interviewed already on this topic, or any other kind of questions can be done. These are just clarifying questions. And the second one, as you can see, probing questions. Probing questions, they are designed to encourage greater reflection, introspection, and require more thought to answer. They maybe even become a dialogue. For instance, questions like, why is that feature important to you? How will you know that this project will be a real success? Right? These kind of probing questions can be asked. Well, let me tell you, probing questions cannot be answered on the spot because they require further thought. So if the presenter says like simply he or she needs to think and would take some time to answer, so that is perfectly okay, right? So now, before I end today's video, let us quickly revise all the steps sales so that we can smoothly sail through this routine. First is setup. See, for setup, I already told you, you have to think as a teacher how you want to conduct this kind of activity. I mean, you want one student to present the work, or maybe group of students to present their work to the entire class. Okay, and you as an observer will be able to note their participation, and you may want to conduct it as a fishbowl activity. In a fishbowl activity, what happens? You help the inner group. There are two groups, okay? One smaller inner group, one outer group. So inner group students, they are, as you can see just on the screen, one group or one individual is presenting and a few students, they're acting as audience. They will be providing the suggestions, ideas to the presenter, and other students, they will be sitting in outer circle and they will be able to note, they will be able to observe like how the group is performing, right? And another way is slowly and gradually, when your students and you just comfortably sail through the strategy, it becomes a routine, right? And then you can simultaneously conduct two or maybe in the four corners of the group, different students conducting the same strategy, right? And ask, share, first of all, for share, I've told you they will be presenting. You can decide maybe in 5 minutes, the presenter has to explain the project, and in ask, audience will be asking questions that can be probing questions, that can be clarifying questions, and then ideas to be given by brainstorming to the presenter. And during this step, presenter has to just note down all the points. And then learned in the last step, presenter has to share the new ideas learned and how those ideas would be helpful for him or her in making the project better one, and would be thanking the audience as well. So my lovely teachers, please use these wonderful strategies in your classroom. They are indeed wonderful for you and are going to help you to give better personalized remarks to your students. See, let me tell you, if as observer you are noting down how your students they are performing in this activity, you will be able to assess them based on the type of questions being asked. Like for example, if there are some students in the group, in the audience, they're asking more of clarifying questions, it means they are having better questioning skills, and it can also mean like presenter is not able to explain the project properly. That's why they are having more questions to clarify. Then probing questions. Yes, probing questions they are asking means they're very, very inquisitive. You will be able to help them develop their questioning skills, right? And what kind of ideas are being given by the audience to the presenter. You can note it down whether the ideas are just given for the sake of ideas only, for suggestions only, or actually the audience, the students who are sitting in a group, they are empathizing the situation, they are understanding the goal, the objective of the presenter, and accordingly they are giving the suggestions, right? And what all new things they have emerged, new ideas given by the students, you can also note it down, make anecdotes and share with them through the anecdotal registers, through the remarks, personalized remarks, right? My lovely teachers, thank you very much for listening to me. For I really love it. Like when I get to know you are watching my videos and using these strategies, but really, I also want some kind of motivation. Please do share your feedback in the comment section below. And if you are having different kinds of exposure, experience, you are from different areas, different schools, different people, different children who are working with. If you are having some ideas, some different new strategies, please do not forget to share in the comment section below. And certainly, I will be able to learn from you. It's a two-way process, right? Thank you, all of you. See you again with another wonderful strategy. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.